Welcome to Dental Nachos TV. I am so thrilled to have Dr. Chris Ramsey, an amazing dentist leader, partners with Dr. Robert Ritter, who you've seen before. They teach a fantastic course called The Protocol, a sponsor of Dental Nachos. Chris is going to present Master Your Passion for Excellence. Chris, before you get started, as we have people coming in, we're also recording this for people to watch later. If I just said to you this fun question, when did you graduate from dental school, by the way?
Ooh, it feels like 1,000 years ago, but it was 1999.
Now, I'm 2002. You're 99. You went to
Yeah.
Temple, so we were around the same time, the pre-Facebook world. I ask people this, like, what do you wish someone told you sooner in your dental career? If they could go back to your third year at Temple, your fourth year, your first year out, and someone just shoulder, you tap yourself on the shoulder and just said, hey, watch out for this. Think about this. It could be something small. What do you wish someone told you sooner that would have created more happiness in your dental career?
Um, uh, I will tell you one of the best advices I ever got from somebody, and I actually followed it. So I would rather just tell people there if they're new in their career. They always said, figure out where you want to live first and then make your dentistry work there. You'll be happier. Meaning, don't move somewhere for just a job because after a while, it's just a job. And then you find yourself living someplace that's miserable. So figure out, where do I want to live? Where do I want to raise my family? And then start doing dentistry there regardless. That was great advice. I ended
I
up back
love
in
that.
South Florida. I work in Paradise, little beach town, Jupiter, Florida. It's awesome. It's palm trees and sand every day. And so I chose where I wanted to live first and then made dentistry happen. The second thing I want, which I'm actually going to make a point of today, is you want to start yourself on some sort of a path. What do you want to be in dentistry? If you don't know because you're early in your career, like, I just want to prep some teeth, I got a lot of student loans, I just want to get rolling. That's fine. And I can absolutely feel you when you say that. But I think more importantly, you need to start thinking, what's my path look like? I believe everyone should start some sort of a continuum, Coyce, Spear, Pankey, Dawson, something where you're on a track. You're not just bouncing around, taking an Invisalign class here and then this class here and some nonsense over there. I think you need to kind of figure out, where do I want to be? I hate it when people say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Such a stupid question, right? Because we don't know what 5 years is going to offer us as a human. If you go back 5 years in technology, we're so far ahead of the game. So I don't know where I want to be in 5 years, but I know what my path looks like. I know I want to be better today than I was yesterday. And I also know one thing about when it comes to being a dentist. I need to be the best in my area at what I do. And that's what today is really going to be about. I don't want to be just a dentist on some street on some bullshit insurance plan. I want to be the dentist in my area. And when I say my area, understand too what I mean by that. As we get into today, so many people are focused on social media. They spend hours scrolling, looking at everybody's nonsense before and afters. Look, Paul, I don't care what anybody's doing. I don't care what you're doing in Boston, Chicago, LA, New York. My patients aren't going there. So I'm focused on being the best in my area, Northern Palm Beach County.
Well, on
I
that
want
note, well, you're going to help us with less nonsense, more nacho sense. That is a play on words. So I love
Yes,
that.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm going to drop back. I want you to deliver this presentation. We have many people on Zoom. I'm thrilled to have these people watching in live with us. If you
Love
have
it.
questions, we're going to go over them at the end. Chris, the stage is yours for the next 30 minutes. Enjoy presenting to our group, and I'll see you in 30 minutes.
All right. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate Dental Nachos having me. Um, to say I'm psyched is an understatement. For those people out there in the world who know I'm a very high energy guy. So please forgive me as my enthusiasm will bleed through this screen. But I'm also very much an in your face guy. I believe in telling you like it is, even if it makes you uncomfortable. And that's what today's about. We're not going to be showing you a lot of technical dentistry. God knows all of you have done enough courses or you're going to take enough courses. I'm not going to tell you the secret of a new cement or bonding agent, because to me, that's all nonsense, right? We've seen enough of that. I want to give you 30 minutes of what is going to make an impact, not just in your office, but in your mindset as you come into your office every single day, but specifically starting on Monday, what can make a difference. So let's kick it off real quickly. As Paul did in the intro, I am business partners with a guy named Rob Ritter. We are one of the few actual partnerships in dentistry that have actually made it work. We're 24 years in. And he's my brother, not biologically, but you know what I mean? We spent so much time together. And we've done some amazing things. We've traveled all over the world. We've been honored to lecture in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, all throughout the US. But one of the best things we've ever done was 5 years ago, right around COVID time, coming up with this idea of the protocol, taking all the knowledge from Coyce, Spear, Pankey, Dawson, all his years, all my years, assimilating it into a 2 day event that we think wholeheartedly this can make such an impact for you, whether you're starting in your career, you're well into it, or you've done all these continuums, but you're like, I just can't get asses in the seat. I want to make it work. So the protocol is a course that we do 4 times a year. We're starting our 6th year coming up. Hard to believe. And it's great. Small group learning, 15 people at a time. So the things I'm going to highlight right now are the things that we show you in the protocol, but we go farther in depth. But I'm going to give you a windshield wiper view of our mentality towards dentistry and what we're trying to get other dentists to understand. So first and foremost, without a doubt, no matter who I meet, no matter male or female age, there's something going on in your practices. And what's really happening is either you're a dentist that's controlling your environment, meaning controlling your patients and running your practice the way you want, or you have patients controlling the dentist, and this is what leads to burnout, people getting frustrated, just getting sick of dentistry. But one of these two things are happening. Someone's controlling the ship. And so today is about trying to have you understand what are the dynamic changes you can make so that you feel a little bit more control, not of just your everyday practice, but of your destiny, so that you can love dentistry as I do now, 24 years in, and still I'm amped to come to work every single day. But this involves you being willing to make a change. And so I ask humans at every lecture I do, what does it take to actually change? They'll often say people don't want to change. And that is true. Humans kind of get stuck in a rut and we're not willing to change. So if you understand my background for over 10, 15 years, all my lecturing is to doctors and teams. And all of it, when I go through it all, is also about human interaction, human persuasion, decision making, body language, all built around team events because I have 12 years of hospitality and I worked for Disney. So one of the things I do is I study humans and the way they think a lot. And so let's talk about everyday people that come into your practice. But you specifically have to be willing to make some changes if you want your practice to succeed. But what's the problem with change? When will someone actually make a change? Because most dentists, they won't. They won't change. They're always worried about changing this or changing a fee or changing that for fear of failure. Most dentists I meet operate out of a mode of failure. If I do this, I will fail and my whole world will become crumbling down. And we know that's not the case. So we found that with humans, especially dentists, you won't make a change until your tolerance hits a maximum. And what does that mean? When you've just hit a wall and you said, I've had enough. For the average human out there, what does that mean? That usually means death, divorce, a near death experience. It takes something major for you to go, okay, you know what? It's time to make a change. Because if something major doesn't hit you, you won't do it. There's actually a known term for that called the region beta paradox. If someone has a chance after this, make a note to yourself and go Google that. Region beta paradox basically says in any environment that you're in, you won't change it unless it's really bad. A lot of people watching me right now are probably in a personal relationship. By definition, it's not that great, but it's not bad enough for you to leave. Your practice is probably not where you want it to be, but it's not bad enough for you to make a change. And unfortunately, something catastrophic has to happen. There are those people we've all met who finally said, you know what? I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of being fat. I'm tired of being unhealthy. And something happens and they go, enough's enough, and they make a massive change. And that is what today is about. Trying to get into your psyche to say, look, we are so lucky to do what we do that you really have to start looking at this and go, what do you want to be? I want to shake the shit out of everybody I meet and talk to from the stage because I'm always like, look, you have this unbelievable opportunity to be a dentist. Why don't you want to get up every day and just be the best at it? Why don't you want to come in and go, you know what? I want to kick ass today. That's what I want. I can't imagine that we wake up and go, oh, I'm looking to be mediocre. But that's what happens a lot. There's actually a term for this called the curse of the Red Queen. It's from Lewis and Carroll's Through the Looking Glass. And basically what it says is you do all the running you can, you pop your head up and you're in the same exact spot. This is dentistry. A lot of times dentists don't want to change anything. But if you even go back even 5 years, we don't produce food, electronics. We don't do anything like we did 5 years ago because people get caught in a rut and they realize, oh, okay, I'm still doing this. And by the time you realize people around you have made changes, they're passing you. So dentistry needs to be forward thinking. You need to be forward thinking about all the details of every capacity or every facet of your practice of saying, hey, what could I do to make different? A lot of people will continue to be on this web forum with Dental Nachos, and there'll be many people after me. And a lot of people will show you technical stuff. I'm here to tell you, you can do all the technical courses you want, but the reality is, a lot of that's not going to make a difference. You got to get asses in the seat. They got to believe they're in the right spot, and they got to commit to treatment. Let's look at some stats going upwards of 23. They're still compiling all of 24, but Dental Intel gave me this information. I want you to look at even the average practice. Now, most people don't admit that they're average. They want to believe that they're above average. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But let's look at 2023. Look at the case acceptance for the average people. It is low. It was higher in 22, dropped in 23. We do not have great acceptance rates. And why is that? Because as dentists, we believe the change or is going to be important is the work that we're doing. Oh, look at my veneers, look at my before and afters. And a lot of patients are like, that's not what I'm connecting with. We have this inability to connect with the people. We miss all these amazing opportunities on a day-to-day basis. So let's talk about this. There's a great book called The Dip out by Seth Godin. And he talks about you're putting in all this effort and your results start to dip. Right at the moment of the dip, there's a wall right there. And this is where people either give up or just stop trying. This is where maybe every dentist took everybody that wanted to be a dentist took organic chemistry. You start off with 1,000 people saying, I'm going to be a dentist. They take their first orgo class, and now your class is down to 12 people. So this is where the dip is. There's a wall where many of you are in relationships that you say, oh my God, I don't know whether to give up or get divorced or what to do, but I'm putting in all this effort and I'm basically just banging my head against the wall. But what people don't realize, especially in dentistry, if you're willing to push through some of these difficult decision-making things, there are extraordinary benefits at the top. So let's talk about two of those, which I think is what I'm trying to get every dentist I ever come in contact with to understand. You want to be able to come into your office every single day, and you want to be able to say two things. One, we are number one in our area, number one. And secondly, we are the best in the world. Now, somebody is watching this right now and they're thinking, whoa, 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 how could I even do that? This is about a mindset. Being number one means you are doing it better than everybody else, not the dentistry, all the things leading up to your ability to provide the dentistry. Best in the world means, in my world, 5 to 7 miles around my practice. Again, I don't care what you're doing in Boston, Chicago, LA, New York. It doesn't matter. My patients aren't going there. My patients are 5 to 7 miles around my practice that I have the ability to say, you know what? I want to be the best in Northern Palm Beach County with how we answer the phone, how we bring them in, the experiences that they have, and the way we exit the patient. That's what it means to be the best. And so start to understand that you can work through some of these things. You in your team has to understand, I want to be number one. I don't want to go through this life as a dentist and be average and not have people know who I am. I want to be the number one in my area, and best in the world means just my area. And this is important. So if you get a chance to read The Dip, check it out. So that's where we get to this, the art and science of the consult. Now, I have done this many times. I show somebody this slide, and every dentist watching this right now presumes the consult is when you walk into the room and you meet somebody for the first time in the room. But that's not how I define the consult. The consult is, to me, the very first time they experience you, from their phone on your website to them making a phone call. The consult has begun. It is your opportunity to wow these people into a way where they go, I definitely want to go there. I definitely want to check that out. So all that means is you need to start looking at every facet. What can I do differently? But to understand that, let's go back to 1923 approximately. There was a guy by the name of Edward Thorndike. He coined the term a halo effect. Now, the halo effect is basically a cognitive bias in which an overall impression of a person influences how we feel or think about his or her character. What's that really mean? We judge people. We are programmed subconsciously to judge everyone. It's what keeps us safe. If you study the brain enough, you'll understand your brain's number one job is to keep you safe and alive. And part of that is I have to judge everybody I come in contact with to see, are they going to cause me harm? Do I like them? Can I do business with them? Do I want to have interpersonal relationships with them in any capacity? This is what's happening consciously or subconsciously. So for the people watching this, or are going to see it later on. I want you to look at this next slide. My screen is going to go white. Hold on for 1 second. Here we go. Now stare at the screen for a second. In 0.2 of a second, watch this. Boom. I could ask you right now, what did you see? And if you saw it, you'll probably be able to answer the question. I saw a female. I saw a girl with dark hair. I saw a girl on the phone. You saw all of this in 0.2 of a second. Your brain was able to process that information. So, what do I want you to know about this as we get to our first point? Your brain processes information so quickly and so fast that you, if I left this screen up here, you would have some sort of an idea of what you thought about this girl on the screen right here, even though it's just a picture off the internet. Your brain says, I have to make sense of that and put it away in a drawer, move on to the next task. So what do? We judge. Do you find her attractive? That's a rhetorical question. Some people looking at this would say yes. Some people would say, I don't know. Some people may have an opinion of the color of her hair or what she's wearing or whatever the case may be. The point is, you are going to have an opinion. And this is where I get to my first point, which is known as the primacy effect. This is what is important for dentists to understand. You cannot recover very well if your first impression is just not exceptional. And I do mean out of the world exceptional. That first point of contact could be the website. It could be when they call on the phone. It could be whatever the case may be. But you have to blow them away. Because if, for instance, you have somebody who's at your front desk, and let's say for pretend, let's just call her name Susie. Susie answers the phone and her day's going, well, pretty good, but not great. So after an interaction with a possible new patient, they hang up. That new patient is thinking about coming to you. They say, you know what? The appointment, the talk on the phone was good, but it wasn't great, but I'm still going to go. The problem that we have here is now confirmation bias. As humans, we love to be right. So what do we end up with? We end up with somebody coming to your practice who didn't have a great experience with Susie on the phone. So what do they end up doing? They end up coming into your practice and now they want to confirm to themselves they were correct. So they start looking around your office for everything that will confirm, you know what, I was right. This isn't so great. But if Susie was amazing on the phone, now they want to confirm they were right. They come in, they start looking for all the things that are amazing to go, you know what, I was right. This place is awesome. So you can't substitute someone on the phone who's controlling possibly millions of dollars of your business. They've got to be exceptional. But the problem in dentistry is we don't hire very well. Most of us go, hey, do you speak English? Do you have a heartbeat? Okay, get up there and answer the phone. But the reality is that first point of contact is huge. If you call Disney World today, which I would implore you to do after watching this, just call 1-800-WDisney and say you want to buy tickets. The person on the other end of the phone will blow you away about how excited they are to sell you tickets. And that person over there is sitting in a little booth somewhere in Orlando with 4 walls, not very exciting environment, but they're making you excited about what you're purchasing. And so this is important to understand. Confirmation bias plays a huge role. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at my facility with Ritter, okay? So when we rebuilt our facility, I want you guys to see this photo. This is the entrance to Ritter and Ramsey. Now, we went with a very specific theme. But when people come to the protocol, they come into our office and they take a ton of photographs because what you're seeing right now is not about what you're seeing. It's about what you're not seeing. You'll notice when you walk in, there are zero, and I do mean zero distractions, nothing there. We used to have TVs in these areas here. We took them down. You'll notice there's no pamphlets. There's nothing there other than somebody that walks in that greets you and you're laser focused on them. When you come to our office, there are also no teeth. So if you walked into my office right now, many dentists would do this. Most of you can see that there is a before and after. My question for you would be like, do you like that before and after? But what we don't realize is we put before and afters up because we think that's a good looking case. But the truth is, maybe someone doesn't. So the reality is that picture isn't really there in real life. I photoshopped it in because that's what a typical dental office would look like. But here's my point. You don't get to see our teeth until I get to tell you the stories behind it. Because if you see the teeth and for whatever reason you don't like them, you're already starting to pass judgment. Your confirmation bias is kicking in, and I'm already working from a handicap. As dentists, we want to fill our offices all the time with before and afters because we're so proud of them. And maybe you like them, but what about the people that walk through the door that don't? So we found, let's do something different that nobody else does. And in our office, we did things like this. You'll see all these different wall art that have all these famous song lyrics that had the word smile. This was a creative element designed by my wife when she redesigned our office. And I got to tell you, tons of patients take pictures of these pictures because they think it's such a creative idea. So we got to stop thinking like a dentist. And our first point of contact has to be something that does not distract them in any way, where they walk in and they go, wow, this doesn't look like a dental office. This is pretty impressive. I like what I'm seeing so far, and there's nothing there for me to create judgment. Here's what we got to know about humans, guys. There's a study from 2011, and it showed this simply this, and it's a great study. If you ever read it, it's an amazing study that basically said strangers read each other with an accuracy of 20%. Why do I think it's important to understand this? Because all of you are building teams, and these teams are interacting with people coming through the door at your practice for the very first time. If you have people passing judgment on what you think they're going to be like, act like, walk like, talk like, they're going to be wrong most of the time. So, one of the most difficult things to train a team to do is have no judgment, no outward judgment, and work on having no preconceived notion of what you think that person is going to be like. And that is a learned behavior, because if we can just accept what they're saying to us and start creating an environment that's amazing for them to walk into or call for the first time, right out of the gate, you're different than almost every office in your area. So let's talk about touch points, 3 areas of service: whether they call, whether they come in and fill out your paperwork, and then if they make it to the back. Where can we improve all of these? Well, right off the bat, we know everybody's calling from some sort of digital device that they can also look you up and Google you real quickly. So our thing is, make sure you've got your team working on getting great amount of Google reviews. I won't go into that, but you understand the value of having more Google reviews than everybody else. Organically, when someone does a search, we're always going to end up on the first page. Our website is also very phone mobile friendly, so it loads very quickly. If it takes a while to load, they're going to move on, and they're not going to even consider calling you if it's a pain in the ass to even find you on the internet. Secondly, they decide, I'm coming in. They've had a great experience on the phone. Susie rocked it, as she should every single day. You come in, you fill out your paperwork. What have I seen in dentistry? Dentists are notorious for having new patients show up late because they couldn't find it, they were running behind, whatever the case may be. And now the situation is such that they're 2 o'clock, they're not even ready till 2:20. Then they bring them back. Now they're running behind, and dentists deal with this every single day. We often talk about something called journey mapping, which is the journey of our patients through our facility. And anytime we find a pain point, we say we're going to change it. So what did we do? First of all, we'll send you a link. All paperwork has to be done on your device or on a computer at home. We let people know you can't fill out paperwork in our office. So if you're coming in, we're like, hey, you got to fill this out because we don't have you in the system yet. And you know what happens? They fill it out, they walk in, we hit the enter button, and they're ready to come back. There's no more coming in and filling out paperwork and putting us behind. That was a pain point that we got rid of. And then secondly, they get to the chair. Whatever you want to do back there, you have this amazing ability to wow them, whether it's technology or whatever the case may be. But do you see these 3 things? Communication, paperwork, and what happens at the chair. Do you notice all 3 of these things have nothing to do with the dentist? This is what we call the dental banana split. 3 scoops of yumminess before the dentist ever even walks through the door. It's all of these details where your team can be incredible to wow them. So by the time the dentist comes in, they're like, geez, this place is incredible. They're not trying to be wowed by what your AACD accreditation on the wall is, or you're a member of this academy, or you're board certified. No one gives a shit about that. So you've got to concentrate on having an amazing, amazing team. So let me show you something that's really interesting, because again, I told you I came from 12 years of hospitality and I worked for Disney. So I come from a mentality where every single detail matters. So I love showing this. I had an amazing dinner with Iva Clark one evening, and somebody that everybody knows. This is Bob Winter. For you younger practitioners, very famous guy in dentistry, Bob Winter, great individual with his wife, Bobby. We were cracking up all night, telling stories, and I took this photo of them. So I ask everybody when they look at this photo, do you see anything wrong with this photo? When I do this live, I leave the picture up for quite some time. And as I expected, no one will really notice anything wrong with this picture. And then I do this. I zoom in. And then I go, now watch this. Look at that light bulb right there. Do you notice it's not lit? Now, why do I do this? One, to prove that details matter. Two, I do this because when I do this live, I look into the audience to see what dentist and or team member rolls their eyes. Because when someone rolls their eyes, I call them out. I get off the stage and I go, hey, I just saw you roll your eyes. What's the problem? And a lot of people will be like, oh, I think you're being a little ridiculous. I go, okay, so then tell me, what doesn't matter? What detail to you doesn't make a difference? Because to me, when I work in an environment, this restaurant knew that Ivor Clark was doing a $50,000 dinner that night. Do you know how many employees and managers saw that that light bulb was out and chose not to change it because they thought, no one's going to notice? If you're a dentist and you want to be at the top of your game, you want to be the best in your area, let no detail go untouched. I literally mean every detail. Walk around your place and start to ask, what could be better? Don't accept mediocre. Don't accept your light bulbs to be out and think it's okay because your friend across the street is just as busy and they're sloppy as well. That's not going to fly if you want to be at the top of your game. If you want to be the dentist and not just a dentist. So this is important to understand. Secondly, when it comes to mindsets, I think one of the best books ever written was written by Dale Carnegie. As we know, we've all heard of this book, written in 1937. Over 30 million copies have sold. Part one, principle one of this book is basically don't criticize, condemn, or complain. This is something I try to drive home when I'm doing my full day lectures for groups of doctors and teams. We have an inherent problem in dentistry where we're very negative. Most of our talk is negative. I think when I'm done with this presentation, you'll be able to see me live. So I'll have Paul prompt me about this because I want to make a point. I don't want to belabor it right now, but we've got to understand the important concept of what it means to always be positive. Now, this is not hocus pocus. What I mean by is we have a concept called bookending. In our practice, every discussion starts with a positive and ends with a positive. This concept alone separates us from almost every dentist in our area, pretty much every dentist in the country, because every discussion we have is around positivity. Everything, no matter what you talk to me about, I will start with a positive and end with a positive. My goal is for you to walk away from every conversation, whether it's technical or not, and you feel great, where every other dentist could have you feeling not so great. So I'll talk about this when you can see me live because I'm going to make a couple points about this that I think are extremely important. Too many dentists are wrapped up in talking technical, trying to impress you with their before and afters, trying to talk to you about the technical part of it, where this is not what it means to connect. This book also talks about if you're in business, one of the things you need to understand is humans are not easy to connect with because they're not logical. Everything is based on emotion. So when people come to your practice, in their subconscious, the question they're asking is, how does this place make me feel? Upon entering, upon doing your service, and upon exiting, how do I feel? And if at every touch point you don't have them feeling great, you're missing these amazing opportunities for them to leave. And the difference between being just okay and being fantastic. So now I ask the next question. Everybody watching this makes these. For those of you who can see this screen right now, I'm showing an all ceramic crown. Every single day, everybody watches this and you produce these for people. So my question I always ask audiences is, what's it worth? Realistically, what's it worth? And I don't mean what do you charge? What is that little piece of ceramic that you grind on someone's tooth and you make them a temporary, you bring them back, you put it in, you tap, 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 grind, 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 and you shoot them out the door? Because it's a rhetorical question that I can't belabor now based on time, but I do involve audiences in this discussion a lot. Why is it that everybody is charging these crazy fees, but in town, everybody talks about the one person who has the most expensive fee? Well, what is that person doing differently? Do you think their ceramics are better? Everybody listening to me could have a $5, $6, $7, $800 lab bill if they wanted to, but most don't. So you can make your ceramics look great. So my question is, what's it really worth? Because the worth is all psychological. It's worth whatever you can get someone to pay for it. Many years ago, I came to Ritter and I said, you know what, brother? I know what we're doing, how we're doing everything here, and I'm no longer going to be within the bell curve. I said, that's it. I'm going to find out what the highest fee in our area is, and we're going to charge more. And guys, I want to make sure you understand this as we're winding down. When we decided to charge more for our cosmetics and be the most expensive, our case acceptance went through the roof. I don't know what busy to you is. Busy to us is a lot of general dentistry, and then we do a lot of arch dentistry here. Not teeth in a day, X type. I'm talking about crown and bridge, full restorative. We've got a lot of arches going, and our case acceptance has never been higher. Yet we are the most expensive in town. And as soon as someone tries to charge what I charge, I immediately find out, I up my fee. My goal is to be the most expensive. The dynamics of having a consult where someone goes, wow, everyone's in this range, but Ritter and Ramsey are way over here. You think it would scare most people away, but you're thinking like a dentist. What it does for humans is they go, whoa, 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 what's happening here? I need to take a deeper look into this. What's going on here? And so the psychology here is when in doubt, raise your fees, dentists. Don't operate out of fear. I meet dentists every week, especially during protocol, where they'll say, God, I haven't changed my hygiene fee in years. Because why? They're chicken shit to do it. Why? Because they think their patients are going to freak out and leave them. It's not going to happen. We've got to start understanding what we do is special, what we do is unique, what we do is really, 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 really so different than everybody else that you have the opportunity to create whatever world you want. You right now listening to me are a dentist in full control of your destiny. So to understand that, what I want to make sure I end with is a couple little things. One, you need to now, as of today, take a breath and understand this concept, although you may not like it. Everything that has happened to you up to this point is your fault. Everything. You're taking shitty insurance, your fault. Your practice looks like a shit box, your fault. You have team members that are not so great, your fault. As soon as you can say, you know what, this is my fault, I don't want to put blame on everybody else, you now have full control to change it and do whatever it is that you want. So we're very, very lucky to do what we do. And I want to make sure I stress this. A lot of people in between patients are scrolling through Instagram. In between, they're doing the death scroll when they're sitting on the toilet or whatever. And if you see enough Instagram, a lot of people will see all these things about the side hustle, the thing, how to make money, drop shipping or Section 8 housing or all this bullshit where it was like, I make $10,000 a month doing this and that. But what people don't realize is, you know what the ultimate side hustle is? Us, what we do. Check this out. 335 million people approximately in the US. There's about 200,000 dentists. So if you're watching this and you've never met me or you don't understand why I'm so enthusiastic about dentistry, it's because if you have a dental degree and you're watching this, that makes you 0.0006% of the populace. You divide 335 million by 200,000, you are a very, very, very unique individual. Meaning you have a dental degree where a lot of people don't. You have the ability to set the world on fire. You have the ability to be the best at what you do because you're in full control of your schedule, your environment, and everything that's going on. So my question to you is, why don't you? Why don't you do something great with this God-given thing that's happened to you where you became 0.006% of the populace? You have a dental degree and you can wake up on Monday and come in. What can I do to be better today than I was yesterday? But people don't because they don't want to change. But because people don't, you need to capitalize on that. Most of the dentists in your area will always be mediocre. They will always be average. So you need to capitalize on knowing that that's the mentality of most dentists. What can you do in your area from the moment they call to the moment they come in to the moment they leave? Make your patients have a phenomenal experience. I'm getting to the end. Everything that we cover, I will tell you, and more is in our course. Not only the technical dentistry of opening verticals and doing custom color try-ins and PMMA temporaries and how we design these cases, but more so about how we do this consult more in depth. All the things that we do in the course, we teach you so that we can go back on Monday and be different. Guys, I'm telling you, it sounds like self-promotion, but the amount of feedback we have gotten over 5 years where people go, oh my God, I did all of Coyson, all of Spear. I could never put it together, but I went back after the protocol. And my God, in the first week, I moved 1 or 2 arches. I was able to do consults with more confidence. They were scripted. There was a science to it. And this is why Rob and I are so high on doing this and how much we love it. So if you want to check out more, check out theprotocollive.com, or you can find me on Instagram. But I appreciate the 30 minutes you've given me. And I think, Paul, we're ready to kick it back to you.
Awesome. Perfect. Leave this up for a second. I want people to follow you. Got some great comments. I love this guy. We're gonna spend about 15 more minutes, but as you know, I've seen you be so responsive on Instagram. Any questions we don't get to, please DM Chris on Instagram. But yeah, so I love it. People share. We up to like over 80 people here watching you on a Friday, which I thought was
nice. Thanks, guys.
Tell us a little bit about people. What's amazing with CE was back in the olden days, and I have my one of my BFF Temple grads watching in. Back in the olden days, there wasn't so many different CE courses, right? There was just a few options, and now we have so many options: small group, medium group, large group, Kois, Spear, Pankey. And my whole thing is, it's like fitness: take multiple courses, take multiple continuums. But tell us about the protocol experience when people come down to your office and they people come to each course. I know you keep it small group. How many people are in each course?
We do 14. We sometimes squeeze in a 15th, but it's typically 14 people.
Board review, and it's runs from Thursday to Saturday night, or what's
No, no, it goes. People come in on Thursday. Then we start breakfast on 7 a.m. on Friday. Then we kick it off right at 8 o'clock. We go all Friday. We take you to an amazing dinner on the Intercoastal here in Jupiter, and then on Saturday all day until about 4, and then we do a little open bar and charcuterie, and then everybody takes off. So it's Friday, Saturday education, 16 credit hours through PACE, and the protocol is important to understand in the sense that there's so many great courses, so many great continuums. But everybody who's done these courses, I'm telling you, they'll all say the same thing, because I was one of these people. You take these courses and you go back on Monday, you're like, I'm not really sure how to implement this. I really don't know what I should be doing. So we took all of it. Think of all the knowledge that Ritter had and I had independently, going through all Spear, Kois, Pankey, Dawson, everything. And we trimmed all the stuff off to say, look, if you can do these things, the art of the consult, a structured way of doing your consult every single time, if you can do this and add these services along the way, the experience will be very predictable, but it'll be different. And we've had so many people go, oh my God. We had a course one time that had 7 Kois grads, which means me and Ritter had to be at the top of our game. We had to be at the top of our game from a knowledge standpoint. But they were like, we didn't come for the dentistry. We came because we wanted to see, how are you getting these people through the door? What's happening when they get into the room? What are you guys doing differently? And I take them, we do a little breakout session where we show where I sit, where I stand, all the body language, what I say and why, what I don't say, why I don't show teeth until I can show you because of that confirmation bias we talked about. And those things alone allowed people to have this amazing experience where they go back, they emulate that, and all of a sudden what happened? Boom, they started moving arches of dentistry, where all of a sudden they thought, oh, that's not a veneer case. That is an open vertical. I need to do more teeth, but I'm educated enough to share with the patient why and not get so technical, as opposed to, hey, I just want to make sure this case is going to last for you. If you do it this way, what these other dentists have told you, it's going to break. And let me explain why. So it gave them a chance just to be different.
I love you sharing that. So much value. People are saying great presentation. If you want to get a replay of this, make sure you go into the chat. You can text recording to 215-543-6454. So Chris, I went to Disney when I was 16 years old, and I took a 31-year break until this past last month. So this is us last month at
I love it.
what I'll call it MGM. They don't call it Hollywood Studios. And
Yes.
one of the things that they did, and I was telling my awesome EA, so for something like, even though Disney it has a wildly high cost, that's worth it, right? It has a wildly high
Yeah.
cost. They do this thing where I'm going to trust my wife for $200 for the whole family. You get to stop and get pictures by professional photographers at special stations, because one of the most annoying things of these vacations is, where's my cell phone? My cell phone pictures things. So this is one of our professional pictures where
Right.
they add some magic to it. They give you some with and without magic. So they put the rainbows in our hand. And I am a huge Disney fan, and I know every brand can be poked at, and every brand from Nike to Disney could say, but I don't like this one thing about it. But their customer service is off the charts. And even if it's reinforcing what you talked about, you have a real experience with Disney. What would you say someone could implement in their office tomorrow from a
Well,
Disney
the first,
way to Disney?
yeah,
Not everyone can change every system. It could be different words
of
they say,
course.
it could be greeting. Give them an actionable, hey, Disney would tell you to go do this.
Yeah. Okay. I love that question because I could literally talk for hours, but I'll try to give you just a couple minutes. First of all, I think every dentist should walk in, if not today, come in early on Monday, walk around your practice. Okay. Everything. And I mean, look at everything, the baseboards, the walls, any chipped paint, any light bulbs that are, see this light over me? It's a little annoying on screen. It's an LED panel. I replaced all my lights because I got tired of the little halogens burning out. I went through and replaced all my lights to LED flat panels throughout the entire 4,300 square feet that we have here. Little things like that. I have someone that constantly comes in and touches up everywhere, every baseboard. Wish I could turn my camera. There's not a single scuff on my baseboard. Where did I get that from? Do you know Disney has multiple crews that rotate through the parks and they repaint everything, whether it needs it or not? So when Paul showed up with his family, that place looks as fresh as it did than in the early 70s when Disney first opened. It's not wait till it gets dirty. Oh, I don't have time for that. No one's going to notice. You're going to notice everything. Secondly, Disney is about your experience. So, yes, you pay $200 to get all these photos, but you're never.
Which I thought was a great deal. I thought that part was a great deal.
It's a great deal, but somebody listening to you right now goes 200. You know how many dentists actually watching this right now would go $200? That's a lot of money. I'm like, okay, put a crowbar in your wallet and stop being that guy. Okay,
I'm gonna start using that.
Be that guy. We all make a very good living, even if things aren't going the way you want. You know what's funny, Paul? People will talk to me every now and again. If I'm ever in a group and you say something dumb, there's two things I do. One, I go, I'm sorry, can you say that again? I'll make you repeat it because I want you to hear how dumb it is. Or I'll answer your question with a question. But somebody recently said, oh my God, man, I was working so hard the other day, man, I was killing myself. I'm like, no, you weren't. I didn't even know this person. I was like, no, you weren't. They're like, what? I'm like, you were working hard? They're like, yeah. I'm like, were you in AC? And they're like, what? I'm like, what? You didn't hear me or what? You didn't understand what I just said? Were you in the AC? Yes. Did you get a little lunch, a little something between? Yes. I go, that's not working hard. You know who's working hard? The guy on the other side of the glass trimming the bushes outside of your practice for 15 hours a day, sending money home to another country. That's working hard. We are so lucky to do what we do. So walk around your practice, put a crowbar in your wallet, and start updating some little things. You're right. People don't want to listen to this specifically and say, I got to change a million things. You don't. But the details, I would ask everybody watching this, how do you answer the phone? I want you to call. Ready? Here, Paul, here we go. 561 626 6667.
Say it again. What is it? 561
561 626 6667. That's the number to Ritter Ramsey. If you want, call 100 times. They will answer the phone every single day. It's an outstanding day at Dr. Ritter and Dr. Ramsey's office. This is Kathy, and I can help you. It's an outstanding day at Dr. Ritter. Now, how do you think people react when they're on the phone as opposed to doctor's office, please hold, or whatever the case may be? People are always like, God, every time you guys answer the phone, you guys are always in such
I also want to interject because it's important. I have some of my great friends on here love customer service and hospitality. At Disney, right? We, at this very high cost vacation and all these things, we bought magic bands. Do you know the magic bands?
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
So we bought magic bands that you could just walk around and get in and stuff. And they have this cool thing where they light up when you go into different lands, or they like just. And my daughter's broke, okay, and she was pretty upset about it because our threes were lighting up and hers was not. And that just happens when you sell 100,000 magic bands. So what did Disney do when we went back to the Polynesian? And my wife said, "Hey, my daughter's disappointed. Her magic band broke." They didn't get upset with us. They didn't say, "Well, here's I don't know. They cost $50." They said, sorry that happened. You can pick out anyone you want on the wall. Okay. You can pick out anyone. So we had bought like the medium magic bands and they over delivered by saying, pick out the $100 one if you want. So excellent customer service is not nothing ever going wrong. It's not no problems. It's just knowing how to solve them. And I think that's another piece to Disney that's amazing that we need to do more of, and not play a blame game, but really teach your team how to handle these things. I don't know what
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, the truth of the matter is, listen, you do enough dentistry, things are going to go wrong. All the patient wants to know is, do you have my back? You know, when something breaks, what do we do as dentists? We always ask, oh, were you eating something? You know, like we're looking to point the blame away from it. Couldn't have been my temporary. It couldn't have been my crown, whatever. And I just go, oh, you're kidding. I'm like, wow, that's such an anomaly. I'm so sorry. Let's get you taken care of. No problem. My temp broke. I'm like, don't worry about it. We'll look at it.
Let's just fix this together. Now, I'm only going to take 5 more minutes with you, but this is my last thing because I'm a big one thing. What can you do tomorrow? So I love the phone call thing. Now, there are dentists. I was in network with PPOs until 2022, and since 2022, we have not been. And there's pros and cons to both worlds. I prefer being out of network, but it's a process, right? And I actually have a whole video that's 7 minutes on how to answer, do you take my dental insurance? But let's just say someone on this Zoom or watching is saying, Dr. Ramsey, this sounds great. I want to add in all these customer service tips. I want to teach my team, but I'm a network with 47 spoiled guac PPOs, and I can't do this as a PPO provider. Um, Give them just an actionable thing to make it a little better, less worse. What would you do if you were
Well,
there?
first of all, you're asking a great question, Paul, because what you're saying, I've heard multiple versions of. I can't do this. And I always say to people, you can't do what exactly? Because great customer service costs zero. So having your team exceptional is it costs nothing. Training that okay, so I'll give you a perfect example. There's a company out there called J Barber. They're making a big splash right now in apparel. As soon as they came out, I got my all my team new jackets and they're embroidered Ritter Ramsey on the sleeve. They're beautiful J Barber. Check out their line of because they took medical wear and they updated it. And I got my team. So people said, "Whoa, why'd you dress your whole team that way?" I go because now they look different than everybody else because everybody else listening to this right now is probably in figs, right? So there's all these little things that we could do where I said, I want the experience to be better. How you answer the phone, how you treat people, all these little things, they don't cost anything. But the key I'm finding is if you ask people who, like right here, I have a P&L that was just run for me, okay? A P&L that was run for me that I needed to look at, and I look at all the things. But often I ask people on their P&L, where is the money that you put aside for for to have a better team? And dentists look at me like, not $1. Not $1 have you invested into saying, I need to pay well, I need to hire well. You know what my mentality is? We hire very slow, but I fire very fast.
Yeah.
So you either buy into the fact that we want to be the best at what we do in every interaction with our patient. Disney, for instance, Disney would say, I do this because of Disney. People go, if you go to somebody at Disney and go, I'm sorry, where's the nearest restroom? They say, oh, please follow me. And they take you. They don't take you in the bathroom, of course, but they take you to it. In my world, that same thing happens. It's so basic. Hey, where's the restroom? Oh, let me take you. Not, you know what everybody listening to me, probably their staff does? They go, oh, it's over there, just by the blue wall, turn left. Get your lazy ass out of the chair and walk the patient over there. And there you go. We'll be right over here if you need anything. Right? It's a mentality. What I'm trying to get dentists to understand is you've got to build an amazing team. Have you, Paul? Did you ever meet the CEO of Disney?
No, I don't.
No.
Eisner, yeah, Eisner was back in the day. I was
Right,
Michael
but
Eisner. Now it's somebody
you've
new.
never
No.
met the guy in charge. What makes Disney great is the people there, the employees that are all in the same mantra. And as somebody who worked there, if you don't toe the line, you're gone.
Yeah.
You're out the door. My employees know I don't want your opinion. Oh, we should do it like this. Really? I didn't ask you. You can't go to Disney and go, yeah, I was thinking maybe we should do this on one of the rides. They'll be like, how about you keep your mouth shut and
Yeah.
toe the line? Because we've had major success since the 70s.
Also, I want to share is I love what you said there. Go with your company and your office's ideas as long as they're not illegal, immoral, and ethical. Show the people you're working for that you can implement and execute their ideas. And then if you have one of your own, they're much more willing to hear it, right? So I
Right.
think it's like, we used to do it at my other job this way. Well, this is how we do it here. It's not illegal, immoral, and ethical. I tell my team, try it this way. And then if you see an awesome team member embracing your culture and doing it, and they say, you know what, I had this idea, the leadership team hears it so much different than when they
Right.
show. So I absolutely love that. Well, Chris, you are awesome. I'm going to let
Thanks,
you
Dave.
go. I appreciate you sponsoring what we do. I want to high five you in person, so hope to get to see you in person soon. And everyone watching in, drop one nice thing here for Chris as we turn this off. So many people gave you compliments if you scroll through. We'll get this recording to you. And so
Yeah, I
appreciate
appreciate
your
it.
time today.
Hey, we're going to send you a link, Paul. If anybody wants to take the protocol and they do it through you guys through the Dental Nacho site, I'm going to take some money off.
Awesome.
I added a $500 discount code to reduce the tuition by $500 just because I'm so appreciative of anybody who logged on to listen to this and they want to do protocol. We've only got 3 seats left for November, but now February is open. We're excited. So if anybody wants to do that, they can use that link and get situated.
Awesome. Well, these people, we have people watching from India, people watching from all over the U.S. Thanks for that generosity. Really appreciate it. Have an awesome rest of your weekend. Really appreciate you.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Thanks. Take care.